Okay, now that we have understood what is for loop and how to use it, it is time to go into another loop in Python, which is while loop. Okay, so this is the general syntax of using while loop, where while is the keyword as we have already seen, which is a standard keyword actually, which is used for looping. Then there is indentation. Okay, this is very important because there is a colon, as you can observe after the condition. So there is the indentation before you write the code for the while loop. Okay, and before the colon we are having the condition, okay, that we want to set up for doing that particular code. Okay, so this is the indentation part that we generally use when we have colon over there. Okay, and after that there is this block of code that we want to execute if that particular condition is true. Okay, so these are the various important parts. First is the keyword, then there is the condition that we are going to set up. Okay, and then there is colon, then there is indentation, and then there is code of block that we want to execute. Okay, now we are in our IntelliJ IDEA, and let us try to understand this while loop comparatively using for loop. Okay, so let us write a simple code for a particular problem statement using for loop, and then let us try to understand how it can be done in while loop. Okay, so the problem statement is, suppose if I want to see the even numbers within the range 1 to 10. Okay, so what I can write or what we can do for that, I'll just zoom it a bit. Okay, so for I in range, suppose if I set up the range from 1 to say 10. Okay, and let us put a colon over there. Okay, so in this range I want to see all the even numbers. Okay, so what I can do is, if I would say I modulo 2 is equal to 0, then what I want to print out the that particular value of I. Okay, so that would be it. Let us just see whether this works or not. Okay, so if I just run it, you can observe I'm getting the values from 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, so I'm able to see those values. Okay, so for how it can be done in the similar way for loop, for using while loop. Okay, we have done it using for loop. Now let us do it using while loop. Let us just put some space over there to follow the Pipet guide. Okay, so now that should be fine. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so same thing can be done using while loop. Okay, so what first of all I'll have to do is that I will have to initialize the value of I to some starting value like we have done in this range variable. Okay, and then I'll have to set up the condition for this value. Okay, and then we'll have to write the code. Okay, I'll just comment this code out so that it shouldn't be a confusion, and let us see how it can be done. Okay, so first of all I should be set to value that we wanted, like 1. Okay, and then I'll have to use the while loop. Okay, so while I would say value I is less than 10. Okay, so this condition we can set to get a value is less than 10. Okay, so while this condition is true, what I want to do is, if, again same thing I'll have to do, if I let's just put one space, I modulo 2 space is equal to 0, then what I want to do, I want to print this particular value of I. Okay, so we are almost done with the code, and one more thing that I'll have to do is that in the indentation of while only, I will have to increment the value of I by 1. Okay, let's just put some spaces to make it happier. Okay, so now I'm done. Okay, so if I just run this code, let us just see what happens. I'm getting the exact same output that I was getting earlier. Okay, so how it works, just observe it and just understand it carefully. Okay, some of the things were not obvious when we were dealing with for loop. Okay, it was giving us a lot range of facilities or flexibilities in terms of its use, but now these things will be obvious over here. Okay, so first of all, I'll have to manually set the value of my starting point, okay, which we're doing inside this range function. Okay, so that I have done over here. Then a while loop. Okay, while loop expects that you have to put a condition in front of that, so that I have done that. The condition is set up like I have used this operator over here, less than operator, so I is less than 10. Okay, so that condition I have set because I don't want to include 10 value, obviously, because same thing is taking place over here. 10 value is not considered, so that is how I have set up the condition. You can set it any way you want. Okay, next thing is similar to what we had done earlier, so same condition I have put over there and same print statement I have put it over there. But one important thing that again I have put manually over here is that I have incremented the value of I with 1, okay, which was taking place automatically in this for loop. Okay, but you'll have to do it manually inside while loop. Okay, because there is no automatic increment as such. Okay, so how it works, it will first set up the value to 1. It will check that one value is less than 10 or not. Yes, it is less than 10, so it will execute whatever you have written inside this particular while block. Okay, so it will execute it, and at the end it will increment the value by 1, and again it will go back to this while loop. Okay, so this while loop is executed until this condition is true, and as soon as this condition is false, it will come out of the loop. Okay, so same thing we can also check it using debugger. Okay, it will be easier to understand how this particular thing works. Okay, I have set up that breakpoint over there. Okay, so but it will be obvious. Okay, so let us just debug it and see how this works. Okay, and all. So let us just use this step over function that we know. Okay, and in the console, let us switch over to console. Okay, and if I do that, you can observe I'm going inside. Okay, if with my loop with value of I is equal to 1, it will check whether it is divisible by 2. It is not, so it will come out of that if, and I value will be incremented by 1. Again it will go inside with I value is equal to 2. Okay, and it will again go, again it will check. Now it should be divisible by 0. That is why it is taking that particular printing that value out. If I just check it, I just make it step over again. Okay, and if I check it, you will find that in the console pane two values getting printed. Okay, if I again put it as step over, it will again go inside that particular while. Okay, and again it will go with value 3, and likewise it will execute. Okay, so I hope you have understanding how this works. Okay, 2 4 values are getting printed, and likewise this will work for us. Okay. Okay, so I hope you have understood how while loop works. We have seen it in comparison with for loop. One more thing that we can do better over here, okay, is that rather than using I is equal to I plus 1, what can be done is equal to I plus is equal to 1. Okay, so we can make use of this particular arithmetic operator to carry out our task, and if I just run it over again, you'll find we are getting the same output. Okay, but again I'll tell you, this is the preferred way of doing that particular operation. We are going to see in detail why is it so, but timing, just remember that this is the best way to do it as far as Python is concerned. Python will even suggest you to do this in your programming as well. Now let us also see what Python has to say, Python documentation has to say about our while loop. So more, I would say, flow control tools in Python. Okay, so that was the point in which we were earlier. Okay, in the documentation. Okay, so let us just click over that. Okay, so as we go inside, besides the while statement just introduced, okay, so here is the link that we can use to go into the while statement of Python. Okay, so here is the while statement. The Python is telling us the while statement is used to repeat it for repeated execution as long as an expression is true. Okay, so the important thing that we have to keep in mind is that the block of code that we have written is executed as long as the expression is true. Okay, so as long as the condition is true. Okay, so they have again told this repeatedly tests the expression, and if it is true, it executes the first suit. If the expression is false, which may be for the first time if it is tested, the suit of else clause, if present, is executed and loop terminates. Okay, so what it is essentially saying is that if the condition is true, that block which we have written inside the while, it will be executed, and if not, if there is an else clause, we have seen in the earlier video what else clause is. So if there is any else clause and such outside the loop, okay, so that else clause will be executed otherwise. Okay, again, what it is saying, a break statement executed in the first suit terminates the loop without executing the else clauses suit. Okay, so that we have also seen earlier, that if a break statement is put inside a loop, it will completely terminate the block, and it will even will not execute the else clause if it is there anyway. Okay, a continue statement executed in the first suit skips the rest of the suit and goes back to the testing the expression. Okay, so these things we have seen. Again, continue statement, how it works. Okay, it will take back the execution to loop again and skip the remaining part. Okay, so this is regarding the while statement. I hope you have understood what is while statement and how to use it, and I will see you in the next video.